Yeah, ready to go. Welcome SODC staff, Mark Million and Candida Basilio, and obviously all the members to the public meeting this evening for the Scrutiny Committee. I am Councillor Ken Arlett and I will be chairing the meeting. Item 1, Chair's announcement. I have no Chair's announcement. Item 2, apologies for absent and substitutes. If you can give us those, Candida.
Okay, we've had apologies from David Turner, and substituting is Alexandrine Cantor. Welcome. Mokhi Khan sends apologies. James Barlow sends apologies. Andrew Powell as well sends apologies, but we've got Ali Gordon-Creed substituting for today. And also lastly, Lee Rawlins sends his apologies, and we have Andrew Tinsley here.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Item the minutes of the last meeting to adopt and sign as a correct record the committee minutes of the meeting held on the 6th of February 2024. I have a proposer for accepting those. Tony Wogan, seconder. Catherine
Keeps rolling.
Rowan. Oh, almost as bad as planning. I got the first two right there. All in favour of those? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Item 4, declarations of interest. To receive declarations of disposable pecuniary interests, other registrable interests and non-registrable interests, or any conflicts of interest in respect of any items on the agenda for this evening. Does anybody wish to declare anything?
Not at this stage.
Okay, thank you. Item 5, urgent business. I have none. Item 6, public participation. There are no members of the public here this evening. Item 7 is the work programme, which you have on pages 12 and 13. Would anybody wish to comment on those? Tony Wogan.
Yeah, the agenda for the 23rd of September looks very, very full.
Yeah,
I wonder whether we will actually be able to get through all of that in one meeting without knowing all of the details. I don't know, but it does look a very busy meeting.
So I can help with that.
Right, okay.
We had a similar discussion last night at Vale. Because we have a lot of things coming in September, I put them on September because that's when also suggested they need to be looked at. But my next step will be to look at maybe holding a second meeting if it suits. Because I think these things need to come through, and maybe 2 meetings will be more suitable.
I think
it has to be September.
Yeah, I think I would prefer to have the right amount of time to discuss things properly.
Yeah,
I would certainly support that one.
I've got 6 items which you have as well. The cornerstones one will need to be later in the year anyway.
that's correct.
That's
yeah.
correct, yeah. And I thought maybe the corporate plan, we could put that on the second meeting.
Second meeting, yeah, make a note of that.
And now that leaves 4. Is there anything else you think we could take to another meeting?
We've got 2 corporate plan items, which is your corporate plan, your new corporate plan, and the performance update. So maybe those are best grouped together on the same meeting as well. It's a suggestion.
Okay, that's fine with me. Would everybody be happy with that? So the first 3, the corporate plan annual performance report 23-24, the corporate plan 24 to 28, and cornerstones. Would we be happy to take those 3 items to a further meeting? Yeah.
Yes.
I know Andrew would.
Okay. We all in favour of that? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the second meeting would be the leisure item, is that right? And then the budget items.
Well, I've got these 3 as the second meeting, so those 3 would be the first meeting.
Oh, these would be the first.
Yeah. Unless you feel those are more urgent.
Yeah. I'll take that away and check if that suits.
So I'll leave that to you, but at least we know we've got three items for one
Three on
meeting,
each.
three for the
And
next.
we'll take advice from officers because I think the budget
Yeah.
one's grouped together as well. And
Yes.
we'll just check on when those items can come forward.
I think no matter what, we'll make it 2 meetings.
Okay, that's good for me. Does anybody else wish to say anything else on that? Okay, we move on then to item 8. That's the update on the recommendations from the previous meeting on the 15th of February. Would you like to just talk through that briefly, why we're doing this?
Basically, let's get to it. So after you met on the 6th of February, we provided your comments and recommendations to Cabinet, which was held on the 15th of February. So what you have here is something that we're trying out where we then get officers' responses to what's been suggested, and then that goes to Cabinet. So it's almost like a summary just to remind you of what you talked about, but it may be one of those things that we may make it more concise over time, depending on what suits the committee. So it's just something we've created just to see if it's helpful to you.
I think what we're trying to do is just to make sure the comments or the recommendations we have made go to Cabinet and they are discussed, rather than us here scrutinising whatever and it just disappears into a piece of paperwork. So hopefully, and actually, if you look at this paper, some of the items have already gone to Cabinet anyway, and we have answers to the recommendations that we put forward. So that's the idea of the of item 8. Does anybody wish to make any comments on the 3 pages that Tony, welcome.
Yeah, on page 16/17 of minutes regarding the cornerstone update. So I note some of the comments and responses about tracking and how that might be difficult, and I understand that. But there was a recommendation about the marketing cornerstone, and as a client, I haven't necessarily seen any change to that. Now, bearing in mind this is February and we're here in June, when would we might expect to see some differences in the marketing? Has there been any feedback on that at all?
I prefer to give you a written answer on that one because there has been some changes and there's a new head of service starts on Monday on that one. Andrew Bushby might be able to answer that one, but more, please just come on the screen there.
Good evening, Scrutiny Committee. Andrew Busby, Head of Development and Corporate Landlord. Yeah, in answer to that, the additional marketing resource has been appointed, and they're working very closely with the communications team. And certainly, what I've experienced to date, that's been encouraging. And obviously, we've got the new Head of Service, Phil Barker, starting with us next week, which will continue to develop and give you a further update. But the additional marketing resource has joined the communications team.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else wish to make any comments? No. Okay, we'll move on to item 9, exclusion of the public. To consider whether to exclude members of the press and public from the meeting for the following items of the business under section 12A of the Local Government Act 1972, as amended on the grounds that, small 1, it is likely that there will be disclosure of exempt information as defined in paragraph 3 of schedule 12A, and little 2, the public interest in maintaining the exemption outweighs the public interest in disclosing the information. And the reason of that, there is a non-declaration agreement at the moment with SODC and another, and that's why we're proposing to go into confidential. So I'll propose it from the chair. I can have a seconder, Catherine Keith Rohan. All in favour of that? Okay, that's unanimous. Okay, thank you. So